By the time I had hit my mid-teens, I was right into the hair metal scene. Whether it was Bon Jovi, Poison, Stryper, Crazy Nights era Kiss, or any other band of that ilk, the genre was on high rotation on my personal stereo. But then a friend introduced me to a band called Skid Row, and I had two immediate reactions. Number one, Sebastian Bach's voice was just in another league altogether. And two, the ferocity of the sound from the band was so immediate, so powerful, that it hit my teenage heart like a freight train. That first album by the band was an absolute revelation for me. Now, as an aside, part of me was initially freaked out by Bach's voice, as, in my head anyway, it reminded me of the fast wave vocals from the horror movie Trick or Treat. Yeah, I know, they don't sound anything like it, but I persisted with the band, and I'm so glad that I did. I became a fan of Skid Row and have followed them through their various incarnations, and I'm not going to get into a debate of Skid Row is Sebastian Bach. I'm not going to go there. If you want to leave a comment on that, drop it below. Regardless, Skid Row were one of the bands that were able to navigate the changing musical climate of the early 90s and rise above the hair metal moniker that they were found lumped with. So let's get into it. It's time to call out Rollin' and let the youth go wild as we get into this episode of Should Have Been on the Album. Skid Row was originally formed in New Jersey in 1986 by bassist Rachel Bolan and guitarist Dave Sabo. They were soon joined by Scotty Hill on guitars and Robert Fuso on drums. However, they were originally fronted by Matt Fallon before a young Sebastian Bach replaced him. There are various videos online of Fallon-era recordings, which are worth checking out. The tracks also include songs that weren't officially released on that first Skid Row album, like Walk With a Stranger and Rescue You. You can find demos of those songs featuring Fallon on YouTube. The band was signed in 1988 by Atlantic Records after John Bon Jovi came good on his promise to get the band signed if one of them made it in the music industry. They were put into the studio and their debut album was released in January 1989. The self-titled album would go 5 times platinum on the back of 3 massive singles, Youth Gone Wild, 18 and Life, and I Remember You. A tour followed, fronting for Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Mr. Big, and Aerosmith. But controversy would follow them wherever they went, with Bach's antics getting widespread media attention. Come 1990, Skid Row were back in the studio, releasing Slave to the Grind in June 1991. It debuted at number 1 and reached twice platinum, with 3 major singles including Monkey Business, Slave to the Grind, Wasted Time, and then 2 others, In a Darkened Room, which was released in Europe, and Quicksand Jesus, which was released in Japan. Some versions of the album replaced the song Get the F*** Out, yeah, I had to bleep that one, with Beggar's Day, thus making a clean version of the release. A stopgap EP called Beside Ourselves was released in 1992, but come 1994 tensions were definitely on the rise as the band entered the studio to record album number 3. This was reflected in the tone of the album, and not to mention the musical world at the time. But Subhuman Race would still hit top 40. However, their popularity was on the wane, and Bach was fired in 1996, and the band called it a day. There were various side projects including Bach's own Prunella Scales, other members performing as Ozone Monday, and a greatest hits compilation called 40 Seasons that was released in 1998. The band reformed in 1999 with Johnny Solinger in the lead vocal spot, and they would release Thick Skin in 2003 and Revolutions Per Minute in 2006. After another big gap, the band would release 2 EPs, United World Rebellion Chapter 1 in 2013 and Rise of the Damnation Army in 2014. But Solinger was fired in 2015, replaced by Tony Harnell, who would then leave at the end of 2015, with ZP Third filling in. Third would leave in 2022, and ex-Heat vocalist Eric Gronwall would join, fronting the 2022 release, The Gang's All Here. For my part, Gronwall was a worthy successor to Bach, and The Gang's All Here really is a return to the classic Skid Row sound. Grunwald had to leave the band in 2024 due to health conditions, and at this point, no full-time replacement has been announced, with Lizzie Hale filling in at various concerts. But for today, we're going to check out a track that didn't make the Skids' first release, and was actually left on the shelf. The song, Forever. Forever was written by Dave Sabo, Scotty Hill, and Rachel Bolan, and was recorded during the sessions for Skid Row's debut album, helmed by Michael Wagner. The song only came out as a track on 40 Seasons, the greatest hits release, and then on the 30th anniversary deluxe edition of their self-titled album. The liner notes on 40 Seasons state that Forever was written in 1988, and that it didn't make the first record, but is truly a sign of the times. However, there is a demo version of the song featuring Matt Fallon, the original vocalist for Skid Row, so it's been in the mix of their songs for quite a while. Lyrically, the song is, in the band's own words,
"Alright everybody, we got a song right now about holding on to your dreams and taking no shit from nobody."
And we are immediately reminiscing about the past.
Remember when we were young, just two kids on the run, with a fist full of dreams. Drinking a wine, playing cool, stay out late, cutting school, while cigarettes like James Dean.
Clearly, this relationship has progressed to the next stage.
In the backseat of my Chevrolet, where the radio would play and play, and all the world would fade away.
However, there are warnings from all those around them, so they've decided to take the matter into their own hands.
They said we're growing up too fast, what we had would never last, so we left without goodbyes. And then sometimes when they got tough, the roads ahead looked kinda rough, and all we had was you and I.
Still, through it all, they never gave up.
Together we stand, well it's just you and me, so baby hold on and you'll see. Forever we stand, and we'll make it through, 'cause I know I can't live without you, no.
It's the tale of many a teenage couple in love, going against what others are saying, choosing to stand on their own. Yep, it's a song of us against the world. Musically, it's a powerful rock number from the Skids, opening with a relatively straightforward guitar riff before the thunderous drums kick in. Bach's vocals are on point, holding the melody with great storytelling. The chorus lifts with gang vocals, and the bridge adds some halftime dynamics before launching into a screaming guitar solo. And just when you think they're going to hit the chorus again, the band circles back around to the main riff. Forever is full of energy, power, passion, and a shitload of bravado. And it's one hell of a track not to make an album. Go figure. So, should Forever have found a spot on the debut release? Let's find out. Side 1 bursts out of the gates with 3 brilliant bites of hard rock. The massive Big Guns, the shout-along Sweet Little Sister, and the incredibly catchy and melodic Can't Stand the Heartache. This sequence announces the band as a force to be reckoned with, young, hungry, and mean. Piece of Me is next, and it growls with a rolling bass line and a sneering delivery. The classic single 18 and Life follows, and we finished with Rattlesnake Shake, a typical cock rock fueled banger, and possibly the weakest song on side 1. However, it's still a solid first side, and really there's not much I would change. So, on to side 2. Youth Gone Wild ups the ante on the entire album. It's an absolute monster of a song, and became the rally cry of every young rocker. Next you have 2 album tracks in Here I Am and Making a Mess. For me, both are fine up-tempo rockers, with Here I Am driven by a frenetic riff, and Making a Mess fueled by Bach's spitfire vocal delivery. Then the big, massive single, I Remember You, which was almost not recorded and put on the album at all. Good thing it was though. It's one of the best ballads of the genre. Full stop. The album finishes with the excellent and intense Midnight Tornado, which also hints at the tougher and meaner edge that they would adopt for Slave to the Grind. Yeah, it's a brilliant album. So would Forever fit? I have to say yes. And for me, I would either put it at the end of side 1 in place of Rattlesnake Shake, or on side 2 instead of Here I Am. Both tracks for me are the weakest on the release. Rattlesnake Shake may be lyrically perfunctory at best, while Here I Am's chorus just doesn't quite take off. Forever is a better track than both, and would easily fit in either spot. So if I have to make a call, I think I'm keeping Rattlesnake Shake and dropping Here I Am in favour of Forever. Forever really is a brilliant track from the band, and definitely deserved a spot on their first release. Outside of the Beside Ourselves release, there's not a lot of other rare tracks to be found by the band. There is another demo from the Slave to the Grind era called Fire in the Hole, which appeared on 40 Seasons, as well as some bootleg tracks scattered throughout the internet. And of course, you can check out Sebastian Bach's solo releases as well. Forever has a lot of love on various forums and websites, but they all ask the same question. Why was it left off? One take could be the inclusion of I Remember You, a track that the songwriters themselves weren't sure was good enough to put on the album. However, you can't exactly argue with a massive hit. And in the end, I wouldn't trade Forever for I Remember You. So what do you think? Do you rank Forever? And what would you take off the first album in place of it? Drop your comments below. And remember, if you have an idea for a B-side or rare track that you think I should check out, please let me know. You can email me on shouldvebeenonthealbum@gmail.com. You can check us out on all of the socials. The links are in the description below. Finally, if you like what you've seen and heard in this video, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. We are nearing the 500 subscriber mark, and it would be so cool to see this little channel of mine continue to grow. And really, that's all because of you guys out there. I can't thank you enough for being the ones who watch this video, who talk about it, who send me emails and drop me comments. I really am truly grateful. But until next time, my name is Drew, and you've been watching Should Have Been on the Album. Cheers. There we go. There are various videos online of Fallon era. Fallon era. There are outside of the B-side ourselves. Go back. Do it again. Let's try and do that bit again.